So if you open up your workbook, download that, open it up, and you'll have a fillable PDF that you can type into. Or if you want to print it out, you can write directly on it as well. So I'm going to step you through this framework. Sure, everyone's seen a Venn diagram before, but this is a Venn diagram that you haven't seen before when I'm about to step you through. I'm going to take you through this framework first, and then we're going to go into an exercise at the end. So you can fill these labels in, and then we'll go into the exercise after this. So like we've been discussing this morning, what we're here to do is talk about how to get to the end goal, how to be a scalable expert, and how to move from that booked out position to now having scalable income. And if we think about how you get that, we know that there's 3 core outcomes, right? There's 3 key outcomes that we need. Now, these 3 key outcomes that I'm about to show you in these first 3 are very important in the context of pretty much any business, but they've been adapted, and I'll explain why this is important for you as a service provider. Number 1, I don't care what you tell me, you're here to make money. With love, you're here to make money. We are not in a charity business. The purpose of creating and starting a business is to make money. Money makes the world go round, and money will solve pretty much majority of problems, if not all problems, in the context of business. So you need your business to be healthy. You need your business to be making a profit in order to have a business that stands the test of time, right? So the first outcome that we always start with is business, not brand, business. We need a bulletproof business. Brand becomes the next focus. Now, for those of you that need to know or want to know the difference between business and brand, business is about trading products and services and making money. So when you think about business, I think about strategy and operations and sales and the product and service that you're selling to your customers and your clients. When you think about brand is about perception, and it's about what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's about reputation. It's about, we think about personal brand, which is why this is so important in the context of a service provider business. Because if people are working with a consultant or they're working with a coach, a lot of the time what they're buying is you. So that brand piece is really, really important. But you can't just have any brand. You have any old cookie cutter brand. That's not what we want. What we want is an iconic brand. And we'll talk more about what that looks like. And last but not least, there's you. And this is arguably one of the most important things, because right now, if you stepped out of your business, would your business still run? Right now, if, touch wood, something was to happen to you, you needed to take extended leave, would the wheels fall off, or would everything continue to run seamlessly? So for a lot of service providers, you as a leader and you as an asset, you're the number 1 asset in the business, because if you stepped out, I know for me, if I stepped out of my business as a consultant, well, who was consulting, right? So what we need at this stage is a leverage leader. And your identity is very important when it comes to this transition and what we're talking about next. So this identity piece is really, really important. So are any of these 3 outcomes important to you, team? When you think about having a bulletproof business, you think about what it would mean to have an iconic brand and what it would mean to be a leverage leader. And is it one of those things, 2 of those things, all of those things? Which one stands out the most? Yeah, all 3. Perfect. All right. So if we get the bulletproof business part right, it's about sales predominantly and selling a service or selling a product, we should make more money. That's the outcome that we're looking for there. And if we're able to do that, then we go from being solo to being scalable. That's the outcome of that lever. If we can get the brand piece right, then we've got more impact. So we go from being invisible in the market and having very limited visibility, which, by the way, can I just say at this particular part, I have always been a brand girl through and through. Like brand was always really important to me. You know, the way that my brand looked, my personal brand, the way that I showed up, what I was known for, PR, awards, all of that stuff was really important to me. However, I had a reputation before going into my scalable group offer. I had a reputation in the small network of clients that I had. And that was it. Does that make sense, team? Like when you are booked out as a one-on-one service provider, your clients and your immediate friends and family know how amazing you are. But a lot of the time you don't get recognition outside of that because you're trapped in that small model. And so you don't get that visibility, you don't get that reach and that attention, therefore you don't get the impact. So for me, that was really obvious to me as I went through my journey of the people that knew me, knew the genius that I had and have. But if they were unaware of my brand, how could they possibly know? So there was still this texture of feeling like I was invisible, even though I probably had a brand that was maybe more established than other, people in my position, but it still wasn't, I didn't get that impact. I didn't get that reach. So I wanted to highlight that there as well, if that rings true for you. And then number 3, if we get that leadership part right, then we get more time. And we move from being chained to the desk, chained to Slack, chained to emails. Like I remember being a consultant and Charlotte, my youngest, was quite young at the time. Because I billed hours, it was like I'd wake up in the morning, I'd go sit down at my office and I'd turn my time tracker on and start working for the day. And I just knew I've got to bill 8 hours today. I've got to bill 8 hours today. I've got to bill 8 hours today. And then it was this dread at the end of the month because I'd get to the end of the month and it'd be like, oh my God, it's the 1st tomorrow and all my hours are going to start again. So it was every month, like you're racing to this finish line, try and make sure you've billed all the hours. And then you get to the end of the month, then because of the model that I had, all those hours would start again. And it really took a lot of the joy out of it. It felt like sometimes, I wanted to enjoy those special moments with the kids and go and do things, but I just had this thing in my mind of like, I've got to bill 8 hours. I've got to bill 8 hours. I've got to bill 8 hours. So that feeling of moving from chain to your desk to feeling like you actually have got freedom, that's what we're looking for at this particular lever. Now, if we don't get this right, then we have no profit. And that sucks to feel like you're working that bloody hard and you're chained to the desk and then you're not actually profiting at the end of it. So we don't want that. If we don't get the brand part right, then we don't get recognition. That also sucks because you are good at what you do and you do deserve that recognition for the work that you put in. And number 3, if we don't get the time piece right, then we don't have any freedom. So you feel like you're actually in a job and, it probably is better in a job because at least you could apply for leave and you'd probably get it and you can actually leave it behind. But unfortunately, when you're trapped operator, can't actually leave, can you? So then we have no freedom. And that's not what we want either. We want a business that, we love, but also we can take a break from as well and we can pick and choose the things that we want to do and when we want to do them. So there is a process and there's a method to the madness on how we break through and how we break free from this. And this is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to step you through an exercise shortly so you can stay focused on what we're doing here until we get to that part. Let's start with business. So the first thing when we think about business is we need to think about dream clients. Not just taking on anyone with a heartbeat or anyone with credit cards. We don't want credit card breath. We want dream clients that we like working with, that we want to spend time with every day. Because I don't know if you've experienced this before, but in the context of clients, it's like team. You've probably heard the analogy before about how if you get, a team member that's not the right fit or not the right culture fit, then that can have an effect on everybody else around them. Same thing can happen with clients as well. If you take on a client that's not the right fit and you ignore that, that can deplete your energy. And that can mean that you're not actually looking forward to waking up in the morning and getting out of bed because you've got that disconnect with clients. So that's always step 1. Who do you want to work with? And especially when you're putting together a group offer, who is the client that you're able to serve with your genius that you have? Number 2 is the offer. You can't create the offer without knowing who the client is going to be. It's like trying to go fishing for a particular fish. You need to know what fish you're going for in order to choose the right tack and select the right bait. So clients is always number one, and an offer is always number two. Crafting an offer that's going to be a good fit for that particular client. And then there's selling it. So, pricing that offer, you've packaged it up, but then there's pricing the offer and selling it and getting clients to transition or to take up that group offer. So they're the three things that are important, or three steps that you go through at that stage. Then we talk about brand, so the green side. In order to build a business, there's only two ways to build. One, you win more clients, or two, you sell more to the clients that you've already got. And ideally, we do both. Both is great when it's scalable. So for raving fans, what we want to create here is a raving fan base that end up becoming brand advocates for you. Alexandra, can I give you a shout out in the group, please? Because this is what I mean. Like, you're living proof of that. Alexandra's been in the comments right now. She's actually one of my clients inside the Scalable group offer, the business advisory. So this is what I mean, team. If you can create amazing bonds with clients like Alexandra, thank you for showing up and being here. This is what I'm talking about. Advocates. Like, I know if Alexandra met someone in public and she spoke about the business advisory, she probably would be the best unofficial PR lady ever, because she loves what we do and she's in it, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Raving fans and having an offer that you can sell repeatedly, because when it comes to problems, it takes time to solve problems. Like, complex problems take time to solve, and people often need support long term. I see this all the time with clients in the context of offer, of putting together too short of a time frame because maybe they're trying to reduce the amount of investment that someone has to make. And it's not about that. It's actually about what amount of time do you need to work with a client to get the result that they want. They truly want at the bottom of the iceberg, because if you're packaging it up and you're shortcutting them, or you're shortcutting, what actually needs to happen, they're not going to get that value at the bottom of the iceberg that we just went through, because there's not enough time for you to be able to achieve that outcome. So having a problem that you can solve over a longer stretch of time helps for that raving fan, because you don't necessarily want to solve a problem that's a 1 day thing, a 1 second thing. So thinking about the way that you package this up is really, really important. Household name. So I'm Greek. I always use the Windex example, but Windex is a classic example of this. Windex is actually a window cleaner, but we all know it as Windex. Like, I still call it Windex. My parents call it Windex. My kids call it Windex. Same with Glad Wrap. So there's all these examples of things that and you call it the brand name. Breville is probably another one. You might be able to help me in the comments if you can think of any others, but you probably get where I'm going with this. Hoover, yeah, good one. Band-Aid, yeah. Esky, see, look, I've got you guys on a roll now. So all of this is you're thinking about the product, or you're thinking about the industry, and that thing, that brand is synonymous with it. It's the brand that comes to mind when you think about window cleaner or tomato sauce. Yeah, exactly. So that's how I want your brand to be represented in the market. That's how I want people to think about you. So when they think about who's the best XYZ, you're the brand that they think of. Now, there's some genius that goes around this and how we do it, but that household name piece is really important, because you don't want to be in a sea of competitors and then look and show up like everybody else, do you? Because a lot of you are probably in competitive markets based on what I was seeing in the chat earlier. The worst thing that could happen to you is you look like everybody else, because then there's no differentiation. You don't look any different. So that household name piece is really, really important. And number 3, unique genius. So this is your IP. This is your genius. And for me, this is a process that I had to go to, bringing the business advisory to life. Putting stuff like what I'm showing you today together takes time. You need to extract it. You need to articulate it. You need to package it up. So that unique genius for a lot of you is up here right now, because I know if you're anything like me, I could meet with a client and build a strategic plan in my head on autopilot. That was my superpower and part of my unique genius. But the moment I had to try and explain to somebody else how I did that, that became hard until I extracted this, spent the time and put these frameworks together, like what I'm showing you today. So when you're thinking about your unique genius, it's your process, your method with clients, the way that you go about doing things, and then building proprietary frameworks around that. I just realized I should have featured Claire Jackson in here. Claire's another one of my amazing clients, and she is a consultant here in Adelaide. She's completely transformed her brand with what I'm talking to you about. For those of you that listen to the podcast, there's one that I did with Claire, and we developed a tagline for her. She's a Chief Habits Officer, which I absolutely loved, because she works with universities and she helps people to install change and habit behavior to be able to actually achieve their goals. And she's incredible. But she is the best poster girl for this in terms of unique genius and what she's been able to create with her brand. And then let's talk about time. So when it comes to that leverage leader, there's 3 things that need to happen here. Number 1, if you want to earn more and reduce your delivery or not increase delivery when you earn more, you need scalable delivery, which is going to be different to what you're doing right now for a lot of you. So you need that scalable delivery. Otherwise, if you add more clients, you're adding more time, and you may not have time right now. So that scalable delivery piece is really important. Second thing is autopilot operations. So, the administrational workload, the things that happen, the wheels and the cogs that turn behind the scenes, having those turn on autopilot without your involvement, without your constant babysitting, without your constant hand-holding. And number 3, which is arguably, again, one of the most important, see your rhythm and your identity. So what you're doing and when you're doing those things, how you're showing up. A lot of this comes back to your identity and your rhythm with these things, your boundaries, articulating boundaries with clients and enforcing those boundaries when you need to, that rhythm that you're in as a business owner, and that transition of identity from consultant, coach, expert into a CEO level thinking, which is all identity based. Thanks, Quartz. Yeah, Claire's an absolute superstar. So can you see how these 9 accelerators really help to feed into this overall result that we're looking to achieve for the Scalable Expert? And there's a process around doing this and how we go about doing this. Now, I've thrown in Kat as well. Kat, also another client, part of the business advisory. She's absolutely smashed it. I love Kat. The thing that I love about Kat is she gets stuff done and she's got amazing execution velocity, like just that type of client that you give a list to and she just bangs it out. And she's done a phenomenal job. She's only been with us for a short frame of time, but what she's been able to achieve in that time is really incredible. So I wanted to highlight this. So Kat's a massage therapist, and when she came into the program, she was capped. So she physically could not take on another client. She was at capacity with what she was doing. So the decision that she made was to install a scalable offer, and we did that in real time inside the program. And now it's actually 4K. I needed to update it on this slide deck and I didn't. So first 4K group client within weeks, and now she runs a program teaching others how to get booked out too. So this has been really incredible to witness with Kat as well, to show you that it is possible, and it's not just me that's done it, but we have other clients that are doing this right now as well and are doing this within, a really short space of time, which is very exciting. And then there's Kerry, the lovely Kerry. So Kerry's an accountant by trade and by background, and like most accountants, lawyers, a lot of those types of industries are the same. They sell hours. And so what Kerry's been able to do is package up her genius into a scalable advisory offer. And she's now signing clients using this framework and using what she's created and extracted with her genius. so that she can be positioned as the go-to experts for the clients that she's serving. So these are some of the examples and real life case studies of what's possible and how this can look across industries. Okay, enough chit chat from me. Who's ready for an exercise and doing some workshopping? Ready to roll? Yeah. So why don't we do an assessment right now, and then you can actually see in real time where you're at on each of these 9 accelerators, and we can do this in real time together. So team, if you, hopefully you've got your workbook in front of you. If you don't, definitely grab it now. If you're on the move and you're not in a position to grab the workbook, then you might just like to grab a pen and paper and you can write this down. Hopefully you're not driving. Please pull over if you are driving. Simone, I can see you there, but I don't know if you're driving. I'm hoping you're not. All right, team, let's get started. So I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to run through some answers, and it's very simple. We all know what traffic lights are, hopefully. So we'll go through this system together and you can frame up how things are looking. So starting with bulletproof business and starting with clients, my question for you is, how well have you defined and built a system to consistently attract only your dream clients? So are you currently, I take on anyone who'll pay me? I have a rough idea, but I still occasionally say yes to, clients who don't end up being the right fit. I attract some dream clients, but inconsistently. Or I only work with dream clients who physically seek me out. Where are you sitting right now? Alrighty. Love it. Number 2, signature offer. How effectively is your expertise packaged into a signature, scalable being keyword, that sells without you? Is it 1, I sell hours or custom projects? 2, I have an offer, but it's underpriced or overstuffed? 3, I run a leveraged offer, but it's not fully dialed in? Or 4, I own a signature scalable offer that sells predictably? I feel like I'm on a game show right now, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something. Call me Olivia McGuire. Dust quotes. And team as well, what I want to flag with this is there is no shame. If you score red in all of these areas, I'm not going to say come on down and come off mute and spotlight you today. I'm not that mean. The purpose of this is just so you can have this in front of you and know where you're at. Because in order to be able to transcend and move forward, we need to name where we're at right now. So there is no shame if there are all reds for you. We have the reality in front of us that we can work with. Alrighty, number 3, team, to do with sales now. How consistently do sales flow from a repeatable system versus random referrals or potluck? So is it sales are random? I rely on word of mouth. FYI, that was pretty much me as a consultant. So I just, essentially waited for a referral because I always sort of hovered on that booked out. 2, I sometimes close from DMs or calls, but it's patchy. 3, I have a simple sales process, but it's fragile without me. Or 4, I run a predictable sales engine, produces daily, fully dialed in, locked and loaded. Alrighty. So once you've got your 3 answers there, we'll move on to brand next. So how consistently do your clients turn into raving fans who promote and refer others and come to your free workshops and hype girl in the chat like Alexandra does? Is it 1, clients are satisfied but silent? 2, clients are happy but rarely promote me? 3, some clients refer and advocate but not reliably? Or 4, clients are super fans and they actively bring others as well? Yeah, and Casey, sometimes that can happen too, where depending on where you're at, like maybe in 3 months ago, let's say, you might have had slightly different answers above or below. And when we think about that, the 4 levels that I showed you earlier with trapped operator at the bottom and scalable expert at the top, sometimes you can oscillate between 2 levels depending on what's going on in the business. Alrighty, so household name, go-to authority, your brand. How visible and trusted are you as the go-to authority in your market? Are you the Band-Aid, the Windex, the Hoover? So four answers here. I'm invisible in my market. I'm known in small circles, but not trusted widely. So sort of what I was saying before about, the clients that knew me, I'm known in that sort of area, but not outside of that. 3, I'm consistent with presence and trust building. Or 4, I'm the recognized authority and people instantly think of me when they think of consultant in this area or coach in this area or service provider in this area, I'm the one. So out of those 4, which one most sounds like you? And last but not least, unique genius. So how well is your expertise structured into a clear proprietary framework that delivers results without you? Meaning you could hand that framework over to someone in your team or another person, and they could execute on that framework it's so dialed in. Is it 1, I reinvent delivery for every client? I have been there, so again, no shame. 2, I use a loose process, but it depends on me. 3, I have a semi-structured framework that mostly works. Or 4, I own a trademarkable method that delivers without me. So at that 4th level, to give you an idea, Jess and Courts are both here, so growth specialist, success coach. The framework that I've extracted and packaged up and put together means that somebody else like Jess, like Courts, would be able to execute on that framework that I've created. So there's a structure, and it's a protected trademark as well, that framework that's been put together. Alrighty, almost there, team. So time now. How effectively can you deliver consistent results at scale without adding more hours? So are you 1, all delivery is one-on-one right now, so my hours equal income, like what I was saying before for my old model. 2, I've dabbled with group, but results are inconsistent. 3, I run a hybrid delivery model that partly leverages my time. Or 4, deliver at scale, clients succeed without me adding any more hours. Brilliant. Okay. Second one now for time. How well do your operations run without your daily involvement? So I'm talking administration, your billing, your back end, the smooth day-to-day runnings of the business, not client delivery, not sales and not marketing, the admin, the operational workload. Are you 1, I do everything, ops stop if I stop. 2, I have 1 helper, but I'm still the bottleneck, still things need to be, run through me. 3, some ops are delegated, but it's still a little bit fragile. Or 4, ops and SOPs run without me and business keeps moving no matter what, whether I'm involved or not. Alrighty, and last one. How well does your calendar reflect the priorities of a confident CEO versus reacting to demands? So is your schedule chaos? So number 1, schedule's chaos and I react daily. So calendar's controlling you, not the other way around. 2, have some structure, but I still get overbooked. And that could even look like overbooking yourself, if you know what I mean. Like, oh, I've got white space. Let me fill it with more stuff, I can squeeze some extra meetings in there. And sometimes that's where the identity piece comes in, right? Number 3, I run a clear weekly rhythm, but it still breaks under pressure. Or 4, I live the perfect week that I've, designed myself, and my time is aligned to growth and to freedom. And that's consistently like that. So out of those 4, which ones sound most like you? And at the end of that, you should have some clear outcomes on where things are sitting right now and where you've got maybe some reds, some ambers, some light greens, and potentially some of you may even have a couple of dark greens as well.